heard the account this morning of Palm Sunday from Mark, a colt tied that had never been ridden. Have you ever tried to ride a colt that's never been ridden before? I mean, it hit me first time I'd really heard that. I mean, they took the colt, and you realize Mark spends most of his account on Palm Sunday with those two. He sent the two disciples, unnamed disciples, to get the colt. They spent almost the entire account of Palm Sunday telling him to go get the colt, getting it back, and untying the colt that had never been ridden. That was an aside, I'm sorry. Today is the day we've been waiting for. Jesus makes his triumphant entry into Jerusalem. His ministry has been out back, out in the rural areas of Galilee. Mark said he spent most of his ministry in Galilee. But throughout his gospel, Jesus said time after time he needed to go to Jerusalem. There he would confront the power. There his reign would begin and really come to fruition. Begun out in Jerusalem, now in Jerusalem for its consummation. Now certainly the disciples would have questioned Jesus about going to Jerusalem. They'd been with him for some time. They'd been out in Galilee. They had bigger and bigger crowds. There was a warm reception out in Galilee. Why mess this up and go to Jerusalem? They'd seen the critics come out to Jesus and ask him question after question. They'd seen the Pharisees and others come to Jesus trying to entrap him. Why go? As one of our church members says, why go poke the bear in Jerusalem? Everything was fine. Well, today we have the story of a parade, a procession that enters Jerusalem with Jesus at its head. Today, Jesus intrudes into Jerusalem knowing that his enemies were plotting against him. Jerusalem would almost certainly be the place of his death, and yet Jesus set his face toward Jerusalem. He must have known what a political statement he was making. He knew that a crowd shouting and gathering was a big risk in Jerusalem. He entered in, and it was like a peasant revolt. The shouting, the calling of David's name. That especially was political, calling out David's name and saying, we want the new David. Well, they came into Jerusalem, but they better hurry before the governor hears about it. For you see, in that time, there was an extended period of world peace, the longest period of world history where there was peace, the Pax Romana. And it was peace by force and might. The Romans built this elaborate system of roads, but the truth behind that system of roads was that the Romans could move legions of soldiers to quickly put down any attempt at revolt. And as we know, after Jesus' death, they moved so fast it was unbelievable to quash a revolt in Jerusalem. One of the most vivid memories of my trip to the Holy Land was standing at Bethany, looking down this long hill into a valley, and then you go up, and there was Jerusalem in front of you. You're looking at a beautiful city of Jerusalem from high up on a hill, go through a valley, then up to Jerusalem. The year after we were there, Bishop Michael Curry was in Jerusalem for Palm Sunday. Now that was quite a sight, seeing him lead the procession down the hill with the Archbishop of the Middle East, the two of them out front leading this wonderful procession. It was a political statement for sure. Palestinian Christians shouting, Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, calling for David. Look, this is the way it is. Jesus comes into our lives, and he doesn't stay neatly on the periphery. That's right, a God who intrudes into our lives, all areas of our lives. For God, there is no secular and sacred. There is no political and religious. God comes as God of all of life. But look, here comes Jesus. Not necessarily to fix what's wrong in the world, but to reclaim the world. Sometimes he just bears what's wrong, shoulders it, takes it up with us, and stands beside us. Look, Jesus is on the move. He will ride, encroach, and with a whip cleanse our corrupted temple, engage the powers, both political and religious, unmask our deceit, evoke the violence upon which our culture is created, take the full force on his back, and gasp his last. All for us and for our salvation. So I say, ride on. Come into Jerusalem. Come into our lives. Help us understand that you are Lord of all